So presenting a completely unbiased survey. This is a sample science fair presentation. So one of the first things you should do after your title and making sure your name is on your presentation is to present your question, or in this case, your experiment goal. Rather than asking a specific question, I laid out a goal, which was to demonstrate how easy it is for bias to pervade surveys and research studies. On this slide, I laid out the hypothesis, which is an educated guess. So here I say I believe it would be very easy to skew survey results, depending on how it is conducted. Next, you will make your materials list. Make sure that it is numbered or bullet pointed and complete. On the next slide, you'll have your procedure. You will describe what you did to conduct your experiment or demonstration. Be sure to have it in detailed steps, enough so that somebody who wants to replicate your experiment would be able to do so based on what you've written down. One of the things to make your presentation more interesting, as well as to demonstrate how you did your science fair project, is to include lots of pictures. Make sure that you have pictures at various points of your project or experiment. In this case, because it was a computer-based thing, I used pictures of the dog who was featured in the survey, as well as the bunny that we used to skew the survey results, and screenshots that were taken directly from the Google form. On the next slide, I start with results. So your results are going to be what happened in your experiment, and you can present it in a table, a chart, in bullet points. However you decide to do it, make sure that it is clear and that it is organized and easy to read. And your results should be an accurate reporting of the data that you gleaned in your experiment. Here I have another slide for results, this time showing the pie chart that was generated by Google at the end of the survey. So on this next slide, I have an analysis of the data. And in the analysis, I take a look at the results and try and figure out, why did the experiment work the way it did? And in this particular case, because it was a clearly biased survey, I looked at the reasons why the survey would not be a very reliable one. So what points along the way in the survey gave bias? For your particular experiment, make sure that you analyze the data. You're not just reporting it, but you're actually talking about, what do you think happened? Why did your experiment work the way it did? So I used another slide for my analysis to continue with the discussion as to what was wrong with the survey. I did this because I did not want to have too many words on the first analysis slide. That makes it much harder to read. So you can take up as many slides as you want. I would keep the analysis to maybe 1 to 2 really good paragraphs, and then move on to your conclusion. So in your conclusion, you can talk about whether or not your hypothesis was upheld by the results of your experiment. You may also talk about the limitations of your experiment, or even things that went wrong, and how you can make it better. Remember, your conclusion does not need to say that you were right about everything. Many of the times in science, we guess wrong, or something goes wrong in our experiment, and that's okay. But we can definitely look at, what can we do better? And if your hypothesis was upheld, make sure that you explain why you think it was. So basically, in your conclusion, you're furthering your analysis, and your results should support that. If you have any questions about how to do your parts 4 or 5, please make sure that you send me an email. If you need a tutorial on any of the presentations, just let me know. Have fun while doing this and have a great day.